Welcome to Rock Vegas, everybody. It's Glen Rockney here. I just wanted to get a few takes off before first round tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, Thursday. It's not tomorrow yet. This episode will be coming out tomorrow, but Thursday is the draft. I think this is a special draft, man. It's crazy because I get super excited about the draft no matter when it is, like no matter what year it's in. It's one of my favorite sporting events of the year. Raiders rarely make the playoffs in my lifetime, so I think when they are good, the draft will mean a little bit less to me. But for right now, it's a sign of new hope and stuff like that. It's time for me to get excited. I am traditionally a pessimist, and I believe that the Al Davis and Reggie McKenzie drafting Raiders have made me that way. So I do always get a little kind of anxious when the draft comes, for good and bad reasons. But let's just go through some of the rumors I've been hearing. A lot of media talk, and I hope this is just kind of a smokescreen, because the Raiders are in a place at pick 12 where teams can try to still get a quarterback, still get one of the tackles that slips out of the top 10. Even a wide receiver, which is the Raiders' I'd say second biggest need, next to starting cornerback. But I think some teams are going to want to get to 12 and maybe try to get a Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs. And I don't necessarily think the Raiders should keep a stronghold on there. But if they do really like one of those top three, stay there. You got another pick you can play with at 19. If they are really – you see the rumors about Mike Mayock loving CeeDee Lamb, and then all of a sudden, Vic Tafur, which I don't know if he knows something or not. He's probably the most knowledgeable person on the Raiders as far as intel goes, but that we have access to as fans. But I don't know if he was just speculating that Gruden likes Ruggs more. I think that's fair to say, probably. But I think Gruden kind of likes Jeudy a lot personally. But if Gruden likes Ruggs is the pick, I guess is the way Vic put it. So a lot of Ruggs is polarizing. I'm fine with him, but nonetheless, if their guy is there at 12, stay there and take him. Play around with that 19 pick. A lot of people want to trade down and get a second, which I do want a second round pick. That's one of my biggest goals out of the Raiders draft, other than getting a particular player or filling a particular need, is getting a pick in the second round. So I would like to see them try to get in the second round, but you can do that with 19. Even if you don't get a second round pick, you can get a fourth, third round pick, which at that point, it's completely on you if you want to get in the second round. You have 4 thirds. You could still trade one of those, maybe 2 of them if you want to get high up in the second, and it'll be fine. So it depends on what they want. I think Mayock really values the second round, so I do think he's going to try his best to do it. But if they really like CeeDee Lamb, if him and Gruden are consensus good on CeeDee Lamb, which is a possibility. I see a lot of debates going. It's a possibility that they both love CeeDee Lamb, and maybe Mayock is just the guy out there saying he likes it since he's perceived to be the guy who makes the picks, which I'll get to that later. I still find it really funny that nobody really knows. I mean, like, again, I trust Vic Tafur, but nobody really knows who makes the pick. One rumor they keep putting, and I see this in a lot of mock drafts from people who do talk around the league, so I guess there's something to it, or maybe there was a smokescreen put out, but the Jordan Love rumors I don't get, and I don't know how I feel about him either if he was the pick at 12 or 19, because I don't love him as a prospect, and I don't hate him as a prospect, because there is that little percent chance where it does all work in the NFL and he just becomes like the next Brett Favre. He's definitely of like the Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick hero ball kind of mold, but he is an alpha. He's an alpha at the fucking position, man. If you watch that Utah State film, he looks like he's going to throw through a cornerback. He's like, oh, you're covering him? No, I'm going to throw through your fucking chest, dude. This is going to go through the wide receiver. Not a great approach, but I'm hoping that could be molded into something. Problem with that is I don't know if Gruden's the guy to mold a rookie quarterback. He has not proven to ever do it in his career. So I don't necessarily think he wants to start right now. We'll put it to you this way. I think Mariota might be his developmental quarterback. I get that he's near the same age as Carr, 1 year apart of him in terms of league service, but don't you think that maybe Gruden wants Mariota to be his little pet project? He's going to give Carr one more year, say, look, man, I didn't see an upgrade over you in the offseason. A realistic one. The Brady thing was never going to happen. I didn't see an upgrade over you. Going to keep Marcus over here. Don't fuck up this year, man. Don't do that. Don't do that run around, roll outside, and throw it at your offensive lineman's feet on fourth down. Don't do any of that shit. I want you to find Zay Jones over the middle, okay? Find that this year because I got a guy that maybe can. I got Marcus Mariota. I don't see why they bring in Marcus Mariota if they thought he was just going to be insurance. I know that's a popular take going around the people who love Derek Carr. They think it's insurance, so that way we don't have 2016 all over again. I think they don't think 2016 is going to happen again. That's kind of the reason that Carr is not given a super long leash this year. But I don't think Mariota by design is meant to play this year. He's not meant to. I'm just saying after this year, he does have an option to where he can make starting quarterback money in 2021 should they get rid of Carr, which would cost them nothing. I don't think they'd have any dead money after this. I think Carr would only have one more year left on his deal anyways. So I don't think Gruden has any I don't think Gruden has any interest in a Jordan Love. Maybe he likes him as a prospect, but I don't think that's where he wants to go with pick 12 and 19. I think he wants to get more explosive in terms of skill positions like wide receiver, and then maybe on defense. I think he'd like to split it 1-1 if that was him. I'm sure he'd love 2 wide receivers in the first round, but I think he knows you got to play defense. He knew where his bread was buttered in Tampa. That was with that defense. He wasn't blind to that, I don't think. But look, I'll put it this way: a lot of these quarterbacks, when they go on their adult websites, they like to type in the search bar. They like to find some young. They like to teeter that age of consent line with what they search. They like to get the youngest possible quarterback, get that 5th-year option, right? They like to maybe type in some amateur shit in there. Gruden goes straight for the MILFs. Gruden goes straight for the guys who've been in the game for a little bit and played a long time in terms of football years. We got a little dinged up in the past, but he likes that seasoned veteran. He likes the MILFs, man. Marcus Mariota is a MILF to John Gruden, and I think that's what he's got going on right now. I think he thinks Mariota is his next Gannon. I think he likes a quarterback that he could roll out and a quarterback that throws well on the run. I don't even like Marcus Mariota that much, but that is his strength if there is one. And then, if he doesn't like what he sees out of either of them in the offseason workouts, there's no problem with next year. If you do end up building through this draft, this really important draft, if you end up building a couple more, at least more depth and a little bit more explosiveness on your team, then next year, if Carr ends up being the weak link that I think he's going to end up being, you go all in next year. And then you still have Mariota. Like, it's not a bad situation to be in. I know everybody wanted the instant upgrade. Not everybody, but a lot of people I talked to wanted the instant upgrade over Carr this year. The Cam Newton situation is interesting. I don't know if that was ever a system fit. I don't think that even crossed Gruden's mind, honestly. But, as far as Jordan Love goes, and God, please don't draft Justin Herbert. One big situation that would just kill me. There's two situations that would completely fuck up the draft for me. I'd be mad. And that's crazy because there were a lot more in years past. There were a lot more players where I said, please don't take this guy. I felt like it was almost double digits at times. There's only 2 guys this year where I just won't be able to see it. Jordan Love's not even one of them. Jordan Love, you could talk me into. I'll watch just highlights. I won't even watch all 22. I'll watch just highlights and be like, yep, that's Mahomes. Trust me, I'll start hitting the sour diesel. I'll start getting into the banana tangy. Sit back, watch Jordan Love highlights on a repeat, Clockwork Orange style, and I'm going to be a fan. If that happens, I'm going to be on board just like the rest of you. The 2 situations that will fuck the draft up for me is going to be if the Raiders take one, Justin Herbert. I don't think I'm alone here. But if they take Justin Herbert, I think that's like drafting another Carr who was just a little bit more mobile, which I think we all agree Derek Carr should be more mobile, but that's not exactly what I want to take in the first round and be like, yep, that's the rest of my franchise. I think he has terrible field vision. There's a lot of people smarter than me and smarter than the person listening to this, like PFF guys, guys from the Draft Network, people who really break down all 22, get paid to do it. They'll be like, dude, this guy does not see things happening on the field. I know Jeff Schwartz is doing his best. He's doing his best to not have Joey Harrington with a track background slip too far in the draft. Jeff Schwartz, he was trying to say that maybe he was limited by the coach in Oregon, which is funny because I remember Jeff Schwartz talking about how whatever the hell the guy's name is in Oregon is great all year. Great coach, but Justin Herbert, I don't believe was limited by anything. I think that they saw him limit himself and were like, hey, I got an athlete with a big arm. We got a lot of speed on this team. He has a great offensive line in college, which he'd be walking into a pretty good situation like that. But I don't know, man. I don't really want to draft Derek Carr on a rookie contract. That's basically what you'd be doing. And, he's more mobile than Derek Carr. I think for him, like, ceiling is Ryan Tannehill and floor is Jake Locker, maybe worse. So, look, you might have a different opinion, but that's the way I see it, and so I say no. The other person that would kill me in a disaster scenario, and to a lot of this guy's on a lot of people's wish list. I don't see it. Not that I don't think he's good. I think this person is a productive player. I think this person will be a good player. They'll be good at what they do, stop the run, clog, take double teams and stuff like that. I think this guy's going to be good at it. I don't want it. That's Derek Brown out of Auburn. Again, I think Derek Brown's going to be a good player. I think he might be a more sure thing at being a non-bust than a lot of players in this draft. But, man, it's 2020. You want to draft the guy who stops the run, which, holy shit, what is running the ball? I don't even know what that is. The one thing I didn't give a shit about the Raiders getting better at in the offseason was stopping the run. I didn't care. I didn't care about it at all. Every person that I had on my free agent wish list, every person that I had on my draft wish list was about stopping the pass and scoring with the pass, right? Wide receivers, quarterbacks, stuff like that. Like people that I thought were going to be good in as help, people that I thought would be good additions to the Raiders that could score and stop people from scoring. We have Jonathan Hankins. And look, Derek Brown's probably better than Jonathan Hankins. Just a better player. You compare the two isolated completely. Derek Brown's probably better. But I think what they do for the team, if you looked at just a big model or a big thing of what the team does, who's valuable, the value between what Derek Brown does for his team and the value for what Jonathan Hankins would do for this team, I don't think it would be that different. And people say, oh, man, he's going to develop into like a Fletcher Cox type pass rusher. That's cool, but like I'd rather take Javon Kinlaw, who already is a pass rusher. Javon Kinlaw, you got to teach him how to stop the run, which, okay, maybe it doesn't. But at the end of the day, you have a guy who can bring the quarterback down and put pressure on third down. If you haven't been watching the Raiders the last few years, well, let's say last 20 years, I've seen pretty good first and second down defense from the Raiders. Third down, I just hold my breath and go, I hope the quarterback doesn't see the wide open guy. Oh, I hope he throws it over the guy's head. Oh, I hope there's a holding penalty on the offense. They don't get off the field on third down. Derek Brown might not play on third down for most of his career. I like what he's going to become. I think PFF had it right when they said his ceiling is Akeem Hicks. Akeem Hicks rocks. But Akeem Hicks, more than anything, made Khalil Mack a better edge rusher, which, again, at 12 overall. Look, if this is third round, you could talk me into Derek Brown. You could talk me into Derek Brown in the third round. Second, maybe second, but the Raiders don't have a second, so I wouldn't want to like make something happen and take him in the second round. You could talk me into that. But I got to have a better pass rush, a guy who can step in right now and rush the passer. The Raiders stopped the run just fine last year. We don't need Derek Brown. So I'm alone on it. I've been in arguments on Twitter. Shout out Eric, my man Eric on Twitter. I like talking to him. He's a smart dude on the draft. That's like one of the one guys him and CJ Henderson we differ on, but guy knows his stuff, man. He knows his stuff. I get what he's saying. He's not wrong about the ceiling, but I'm tired of the ceiling, man. I want the guy who comes in right now and can play. And ceilings are for later in the draft. Max Crosby last year was a perfect thing. You see the guy's ceiling, you're like, look, man, I think we can get this guy to reach even 70% of what I think he can be, and he's going to be valuable to this team. So I don't mind that. But at 12, man, if people are saying like it's going to be a steal or something. Oh man, I hope somebody takes Derrick Brown in the top 10, and I don't even have to worry about it because I'm scared of that. That's one I'm scared at. The Herbert one is just kind of in the back of my mind, like just Raider PTSD kind of stuff. But Derrick Brown scares me a little bit. He seems like kind of like a Gruden grinder type guy. Gruden would be just shooting Peter North level ropes, you know what I mean, all over his little table at his FFCA, Fired Football Coaches of America conference table, man. Just, I got to clean myself up. That type of stuff. Man, it scares me a little bit. So I say all this, and it's like, man, who knows what the hell they're going to do? I've talked myself into like 30 different scenarios with what the hell this team's going to do in the draft. I've talked myself into, hey, man, Justin Jefferson at 12. That's going to happen. And then I'm like, oh, shit, Justin Jefferson only plays in the slot, really. He barely gets outside the hash marks in college. But he can play outside. And I'm like, man, do I want that? And it's like, who knows? Then I'm like, CeeDee Lamb, oh, man, is he going to be there? Denver wants to trade up. Should we trade up? No, we shouldn't trade up. So I'm like, what the hell are they going to do? It's the years in the past where you see these Cleveland Farrell picks, DJ Hayden, where you in the back of your head, you're like, I'm going to have to talk myself into this up until September. I'm going to have to talk myself into it. Funny thing is we don't know when the season's actually going to start. We might be talking ourselves into this with no training camp, nothing. You might get some crazy narratives into that. You know, we draft say we draft like AJ Terrell or something, and we just keep watching the same AJ Terrell highlights over and over and over again. And the debates it's gonna suck so bad that we don't even have training camp little Vine Instagram story clips to be like, oh look, see, he can't cover. Oh shit, he was covering Rico Gafford there. Can you believe it? The Rico Gafford. And then we could have those kind of takes. And I don't know, man. I just don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be crazy. I do have PTSD from the last drafts. The last one that made the most sense to me when they made the pick, and it was the guy I wanted them to pick, and it was a good pick, and people revise history with this guy a lot, but it was Amari Cooper, 4th overall. We thought we had a quarterback. I mean, we have a league average quarterback. We thought he was something better. We said, hey, get him this number 1 receiver out of Alabama. A guy gets separation like nothing. He gets separation, and then all of a sudden Carr acted like he was allergic to him. And Cooper does disappear for a while. And then him and Carr and Crabtree always had more chemistry. But I think it was the right pick. There was no way you could tell me there was a better pick for them at the time. Even Leonard Williams, he was great, and maybe there was kind of some debates on that, I remember, but Cooper was the guy. Other than that, man, it's just like it feels like they're throwing fucking darts at a board, man. Like just like, oh, it landed on Cleveland Farrell, sweet. Oh, Carl Joseph, cool, yeah, for sure. Oh, at 14, yeah, whatever. Man, I don't know what they're gonna do, and you know who's not making life any easier right now? I love the guy. He makes me laugh. I'm kind of a masochistic Raider fan. I do love the dismay that we're in. Only for the sake that maybe one day, because I'm a Warrior fan, there was that one day that, holy shit, we won the title. All that shit was worth it in the past. And Josh Dubow is going to be the guy that's going to just crush all that. But damn, man, he's been coming up with some crazy draft misses by the Raiders, man. The one that I forgot about was 19 years ago. This is Josh Dubow. Every Raider fan hates this guy, man, but I like the guy. I'll go into it a little more. But his tweet today was 19 years ago today. Raiders took Derek Gibson, 28th overall. P.U. Gross. No, not the right pick. The next 8 picks. Ryan Pickett. He was solid. Reggie Wayne. Heard of him? Yep. Todd Heap. Yep, the Todd Heap. Drew Brees. Yeah, okay. Who knows? Yeah. Quincy Morgan. I don't know about that. Kyle Vanden Bosch was a good player. Algie Crumpler. Michael Vick to Algie Crumpler. To all you people younger than me that didn't get to see that connection. That was fun. Algie Crumpler was huge, man. Crumpler was an accurate last name. And Chad Johnson. Dude, this happens all the time with the Raiders, man. The '07 draft, I won't even get into that. Adrian Peterson, Patrick Willis, no big deal, right? Jamarcus Russell, Calvin Johnson, that was my guy. Dude, I saw that year. That year, everybody was in on Russell. Russell was the guy. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Jamarcus Russell put on a fucking July 4th pyrotechnic show against Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. It was basically a home game, and he was just 70-yard bomb. Dwayne Bowe's wide open. Ugh. I remember Glenn Dorsey. I think Glenn Dorsey was on that team too. Glenn Dorsey was going crazy. That team was a whole lot of underwhelming. Maybe LaRon Landry was on that team. I can't remember if he wasn't. If he was, then that was a nice pick. But Russell put on a pyrotechnic show. Everybody wanted him. I knew Al Davis wanted him. Just in my head, I was like, "Yep, that's the Raiders' pick." And the Raiders were having one of their classic seasons where they flirted all year with the first overall pick and then pulled away at the last second. I was like, dude, let's just get Calvin Johnson. I remember Notre Dame opened up that year against Georgia Tech. I believe it was at Georgia Tech. And they would like show Calvin Johnson. I was like, oh, wow. They were like, hey, a guy you got to look out for, keys to the game. You got to stop Calvin Johnson. I'm thinking, oh, okay, cool. He's an edge rusher, right? When we're just looking at him, yeah, that's an edge rusher. Yeah, we're gonna have to get in max protect mode and stuff. This guy looks like a beast. So like, oh, no, he's a wide receiver. Yeah, no, he's okay, possession guy, right? Just a big contested catch guy. No, he'll just run by you, and then you can't do anything about it. So I figured, hey, that sounds like something I'd like for my team to get. Seems pretty cool. I don't believe we had quite the solidified receiving core at the time. I don't even remember what it was at that time. But yeah, Josh Dubow loves to remind us of that stuff. And one thing I will say, I don't get the hate for the guy. I understand that maybe it's kind of tone deaf of him, and I think he knows what he's doing. I think he likes to troll. But, dude, there's one way to get him to stop doing this shit. And it's probably the thing that they haven't done in years, and it's winning. So winning cures it all. Winning makes John Gruden a mastermind. Winning makes Mike Mayock look like another mastermind, and it shuts Josh Dubow up. Josh Dubow then starts talking about, oh, wow, it's been forever since, Josh Jacobs breaks this rushing record this year. Oh, man, you'll have no idea. Darren Waller is tied Todd Christensen for this record. The Raiders haven't done that since 1984. Those are cool. You remember that in 2016? In 2016, it was awesome seeing all this stuff. It's like, oh, man, look at gas prices the last time the Raiders had 300 yards on passing and 200 yards rushing. Oh, man, look at that was cool. So, like, when you suck, there's a lot of bad stats. And whatever his narrative is, I don't care. I don't think he really does it. I think when he got a lot of pushback for, like, dropping some stats, because he's kind of just a computer kind of like, well, let me just remind them of this. He seems like one of those kind of guys. And, he's the type of guy that when you're trying to like lie to a girl and you're just like, yeah, I'm a grower, not a shower. And he's like, that's a lie. You're actually 3 inches. And that's at the best day of your life. And you've never had sex. He's that type of guy. But he's not wrong usually. So actually he prides himself on being like extra right. So leave Josh Dubow alone. Let's just fucking win some games. How about that? All right. Josh Dubow, I got your back. Josh Dubow, AP. I'm a fan. Keep up the hard work. We'll try to give you some better stats so you can remind us of stuff. If you're still hating after that, then fuck you. But all right. What the hell are we gonna do in this first round? What the hell is Mike Mayock / John Gruden gonna do? Who is in charge? Also, I don't think I've ever gotten a definitive answer. I think Vic Tafur. I pretty much resort to him, except for the Khalil Mack trade. He's got a lot of other stuff right. He thinks that Gruden makes all the picks. At least Mayock does all the scouting, brings Gruden all the information. But Gruden has the final say. If Gruden wants Ruggs, we take Ruggs. Doesn't matter if Mike Mayock has a CeeDee Lamb t-shirt on in the fucking Zoom meeting, and he's wearing a CeeDee Lamb Oklahoma jersey. Like, hey, John, does this look good on me? What if this was in silver and black, man? And then John Gruden's like, yeah, we're taking Ruggs. Fuck off. I'm going to fucking chloroform your ass again. Don't talk. Maybe that happens. But maybe Mike Mayock, maybe the leash, maybe it's one of those like one of those things where it's like you got like straight A's, your curfew got extended. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's that type of thing. Like, hey, last year it's a good draft. I like the guys you got for me, Mike. This year, unless I see something glaringly wrong, I'm gonna stay out of this. Maybe that's happening. I don't know. Maybe it's not set in stone. I remember the classic quote Mike Mayock said, "Well, John's in charge. This is John's show." Yeah, maybe at the time. But I still don't know if Mike Mayock is like, let me leave this awesome job where I get to just watch film, give takes, make a lot of money, not get fired if I'm wrong. I get to just be at the draft for free, just fire takes off, comment on how big guys' asses are on the O-line, and come up with kind of homoerotic terms for them. Hey, whatever. Why would he just leave that if he wasn't in charge? So that's the other question I have, and I haven't got an answer to that. And I look, I understand people that think Gruden makes all the picks, and I'm kind of with you. But I don't think he makes the picks. I think it's just like if Mayock's just like this, and he's whoa, what the fuck, dude? Thought we were taking this guy. Gruden's just like Buffalo Wild Wing sauce all over his mouth. He's like, what? We're not taking that. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what. I don't know who's in charge. It's tough to say because Mike Mayock isn't from another team, so we don't know his draft history. This is his draft history. It's starting it. So it's not like Gettleman, where it's like Gettleman could be hiding in a Bobby Valentine mustache and pair of glasses on some team staff not knowing about him, but then you draft like everybody that's over 300 pounds in the draft, and then they're like, oh, this reeks of Gettleman. No one has that take about Mayock because we don't know. We know his like draft takes. It's another reason why I think Marcus Mariota's high. Why everybody's high on Mariota in the organization is because I think Mike Mayock and John Gruden both had man crushes on him more than Winston. They both had him over Winston. So I'm thinking that they do see eye to eye on like a lot of stuff. At least can kind of come to a compromise on it. Because I think Mike Mayock's earning a little bit more trust. It's still John's show. I mean, I think John has 1,000% control over like roster cuts and things like that. Like once after the draft, it's like it is John's show. I would say that, but I think you left the draft at least up to Mayock, like to give him a board to go off of, and then maybe like Gruden works off that board and says like, "Hey, can we take this guy?" And Mike's like, "Yeah, I love that guy. He's on my board." So thinking maybe it works like that, but yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? I'm just speculating. I just want it to be Thursday already, man. Watched that Jordan documentary. I felt like I watched a live sport. I started sweating. Felt like I burned calories. It was beautiful. I'm ready for this draft. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but I got to give at least a pick. I want them to pick twice in the first round. I got to have that fifth-year option. You got two first-round picks for a reason. There's no reason to trade into the second. I don't mind picking pick 32 in the first, but take 2 first-round picks. So I do believe they're going to pick 2 times in the first. They picked 3 times. I didn't think they were going to pick 3 times in the first last year. I thought they were going to trade out of the last one, but maybe they just didn't have any takers and they got their guys. So I think they're going to play around with pick 19. But to me, I think that CD is the guy. CD Lamb is the guy at 12. I think they're going to stand pat, and I think that they're pretty confident that he'll be there. So I'm going to pick CD. I thought about CJ Henderson, and I thought about even Fulton there. But I think it's going to be CD, and I think that they're going to find a way to get Jalen Johnson with that. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be at 19, but I think they're going to find a way to try to trade back a little bit, try to get a second, maybe a 4th, 3rd round pick, so they can play around with that and get into the second. But I think Jalen Johnson's the guy. I'm not a massive Jalen Johnson fan. I think he's a little over aggressive, but I think he's the guy. They're going to want their corners to tackle. Not a huge requirement out of my corners. I'd rather you cover. But I think it's going to be like a Jalen Johnson, Jeff Gladney kind of guy. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was Jeff Gladney as well. I'm going to go CD Lamb and Jalen Johnson. Maybe I'll be right. Who knows? That's going to be it for me. I just wanted to get a few pre-draft takes off. This is just for the first round. I will have a second episode coming out after the first round. Going to analyze the picks. Can't tell you what kind of mood I'm going to be in. and then probably just go into maybe who's left on the board, who's going to be who's available. Maybe we have some more picks we didn't have right now, so maybe there's some more analysis to go into that. You can follow me on Twitter at Glen Rockney. That's GlenRockney. And yeah, just let's go Raiders. Jeez, man, I'm nervous.